Yeah, so it's a very interesting question because it's a very subjective thing that to whose benefit is cleaning for, especially when it comes to design. When design as an institutional practice um, disqualifies existing systems and concretizes dominant philosophies and tries to organize existing systems into much bigger, productive, organized systems of production and efficiency, then it certainly becomes a problem because it completely gives a blind eye to the existing systems of differently organized structures.
I guess that depends on your conception of clean and dirty. For example, when I clean my windows once a year, I only realize how dirty they were after I notice the change of light in the room. And then for a few weeks, I get annoyed about every spot I can make out on my fresh window until at some point I stop caring or noticing. I don't apprehend the window as either dirty or clean, it's just there. What I'm trying to illustrate with this little anecdote is that dirty and clean are situational and relative. They are not absolutes and they are mutually dependent. So yes, in a way, cleaning can make things dirty, or rather cleaning is the precondition for apprehending something as dirty.
I think clean and dirty as these terms define a dichotomy of things, and it's very important to not categorize things in this dichotomy because it just completely leaves no room for plurality. And whereas a lot of systems fall outside of these categorization, and the moment we say something is clean with respect to certain indicators, automatically everything that falls outside of these indicators becomes unclean or unorganized or disorderly, and then it never takes into account cultural contexts, and it always standardizes the approach of what clean is according to a dominant way of thinking.
This question assumes that there is a division of clean and dirty in design, and I doubt that this is true. To think of design as smooth and sterile doesn't do justice to the fact that there are multiple practices of designing that don't fulfill the modernist style. So it's rather the modernist understanding of design that we have to rethink and to acknowledge and make space for practices that do not think in dichotomies.
So critical material practices and studying the materiality of things is very important to understand the cultural trajectory of certain objects or places or practices, how design has evolved throughout history, and then materials become this very important medium to study that shift. But then material studies should also extend into understanding the intangible assets of value embedded within these materials, which are stories about those materials, which are probably more valuable than the material itself. Locate these intangible elements of value, which is somewhat like looking into the immateriality of material itself.
If I consider us here in Germany to largely think and act within a modernist paradigm of design, unpacking this legacy is what design research beyond other disciplines can contribute to. And when I talk about design research, I don't mean research through design, but a critical reflection on the politics of design, that is analyzing and challenging conceptions of nature and culture, human and material, that are inherent in the modernist understanding of design and designing. The contributions in my panel today introduce how this could look like. They don't take the role of design as given, but they inquire how certain visual and material practice have to be read in conjunction with the places and the histories they are placed within and they emerge from. So design practices and artifacts then might act as a kind of material analytics. They allow us to analyze what has been and is being foreclosed and enclosed by the means of design.